So, good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who had attended our 2-day Power BI workshop organized earlier. A special thank you to Pratima ma'am and all the students of IITM for making it such an engaging and fun experience. Over the past two sessions, we learned a lot together, starting from the basics of Power BI to understanding how we can actually apply it for real world data visualizations. Ma'am, thank you for explaining everything so clearly and patiently and for guiding us on this for an industry tool, which is very important for our journey. Tonight's session is all about helping you confidently start your assignment. If you have felt unsure or you ever had doubt and you are stuck, so tonight we are here to take all your doubts. We will be proceeding further for this in this session so that we will be able to complete this assignment successfully and deliver it to ma'am. So I encourage you to all to ask your doubts, have patience, and make this session interactive. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Asha, for the introduction. So first, without any delay, I'll be sharing my screen so we could discuss out through the interactive Power BI tool. Uh, I guess someone is presenting the screen, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, good evening, madam.
Yeah, good evening.
Shall I ask one question?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Actually, just I gone through first day video recording. So
Okay.
in that one for correlation, generally in statistics, just I'm not sure about it whether it is correct or not. For
Okay.
correlation, for scatter plot, we can do for to find the similarities between two numerical variables like that. Is it
Yes.
so, or otherwise even we can do scatter plot for categorical variable as well?
We can do it for both, so it doesn't have any kind of a difference over there. The only thing is the way you practically implement and apply is something that's different from each other. Overall, the kind of impact, the kind of information that you get as an input is something very much similar, so that is no kind of a difference that you could make it out. So it's a kind of a two-way process that you can generally engage into.
Okay, we can do scatter plots for between two numerical variables as well as two categorical variables are mixed, both single variable, single numerical and a single categorical. We can do for any possibilities. Is it so?
Yes, right.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, are you people here? Shall we start? Yes? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Yeah. So, first thing, when we had a kind of an earlier conversations, we had a 2-day workshop with Power BI. We had gone through a basic scenario of how the Power BI tool works, the kind of opportunities, the kind of important features that exist in Power BI. So, every single particular categorical information or the specific feature has been checked out. With respect to that, I genuinely understood from the kind of feedback and from the kind of dashboards that I've received from whoever had completed. But still, there are many such people who are not confident enough to attempt their first dashboard. So, this is the kind of a way to bring that kind of a motivation and inspiration from this particular set of dashboards. So, I'll be showing you few set of demo dashboards for you and also how it interacts in terms of communicating the data with the real-time action scenarios. So the first foremost thing is this is basically your sales dashboard for the chocolate products. So before to that, let me take a quick review. So here, this is the place where you generally get the data. So here you have a three set of data sets. So here you have three specific categories, three columns that you could mention, like employee, product, and sales. And every single categorical column internally inbuilt has a specific set of data feeded here at the backend. Next comes this is the visualization box. This is where you generally communicate the information and insights of the raw data to a real-time scenarios. So this is the place where you present the information, showcase it out visually for a person to be getting interactive and engage with the kind of a communication that you try to convey. Next, this comes with the visualization, the formatting page, where you can apply out to all the set of the tools and technologies, the kind of formatting applications, whether it's a color, whether it's a kind of appearance, whether it's an outlook, whatever you wanted to determine it, kind of settings, background, every single detail, you can use it from this particular formatting page. Following to that, you again have this particular set of the pane here. First comes the report view. This is where you generally create the report. Next comes the table view. This is the table view. This is the kind of three categorical data sets combined together. So when you select based upon whatever option you select here, you get that respective data here. Next comes the model view. So this is how it's been categorically inputted the information. Next comes the DAX query view, if at all you wanted to write any kind of a DAX feature into it. But coming to a basic set of the look on how you generally get to see whenever you open a PBIX file. So this is the outlook of it. And extension of PBI is definitely a .pbix. That's how you determine that is a Power BI file. And following to that, earlier we had seen how you need to create a kind of an initial set of a file from where you can import your data set and start working on your dashboard. So if kind of a quick recap, so here you generally get to see, because we have already opened a one particular file, you can generally use the import information for importing whatever the details you want to import, even though if it is a data set, you can do that. But if you are opening out from the complete scratch, it will ask you to upload the data set in any format, whatever you choose it. It could be any kind of a data set, whether it's a CSV file, whether it's an Excel file, whatever the data set, based on that, that respective options should be selected. And that's how it gets pre-figured out here in the data panel. So coming to here, this is the kind of a simple, straightforward dashboard that I have showcased to you for the kind of a brief explanation. So here in this, we have a different set of information. So first is the date. So first we had set out to the date so that only this particular set of date has been categorically filtered, and that respective information, whatever you gather the insights below, is in the specific period of the dates that we had mentioned here. Next comes the product ID. So in product ID, we had referred out to all the different set of reference numbers for every single product present in this dashboard. So this is for all the chocolate products that exist. So this is a kind of e-commerce analysis based on all the chocolate products a particular shop has been selling. Next comes the product names. So here also we have the different set of product names. They have determined by the specific number to understand what product it refers to. You also have a EMP. So EMP is nothing but an employee person or whoever is being working in this particular chocolate products shop. Next, a supervisor who is going to be a kind of a particular supervisor for a few specific set of entity employees who are working in this chocolate shop. Here you are being generating out to the total sales amount. So what's the best way to figure out? So whenever you have a kind of a data file ready, or whenever you had even built out to a basic set of a data file, a basic set of a dashboard, so how do you determine how it is being calculated, how it is being transformed? So this is basically a way to convey you to bring that intuition process whenever you look into any specific data set. So that's how when you determine how you can create the intuition process from the data set, that's when you will understand what are the specific set of categorical columns, specific set of data that you have to select it as per the problem statement and feed the information here in the dashboard. So how do we do that? So let me give you a small example. So okay, now we have selected supervisor. So the supervisor field has been highlighted. Now, for example, I have selected the total sales amount. So that because the sales data, the total sales amount information is here, that's being figured here. So if you see, these are all when you give it out here in format of the specific slicer or specific set of a window multi-row card, then definitely that means you are trying to feed the information of the data in the fields. So that's when you get the option of field here. It basically depends upon the choice you make it here, based upon the tool or choice you choose it. As per that, this particular selection of what information that's being feeded here depends upon the categorical title name that we showcases here. For example, this is the kind of a line and bar chart. Actually, this is basically applied for the line chart specifically since it is being divided out with a multiple set of periods. If you see every single month has been calculated, that's the reason we get a line in a different set of format. It shows ups and downs because that's how the sales has been generated over this specific set of dates. So here, when you select onto this particular option, you get to see what are the particular choices of the categorical columns that you had chosen for this analysis. So here we are checking out to the total sales amount by date. So we have selected date, we have selected total sales amount, and we have pushed the information here. So here if you see, you can generally see this is basically a sales data amount information has been stored here. Next comes here total sales amount by supervisor. So when you see here, this is again a different set of information. So this is not something like a particular line or bar chart. This is basically a kind of a pie, this particular donut chart. So this is the option that we have chosen. So obviously the pattern, the format, and also the input field names will also change it. So earlier it was only fields. Now you have legend. You also have values. So whatever the information that's being figured here, first is the product name, then supervisor, then total sales amount. So that's the information that's being stored here. Now if you select this, you can see what are the options that's been chosen. So first is total sales amount in comparison to different set of supervisors. So for all three supervisors, what's the total sales? They are trying to compare it. So you can also see it also involves the product ID information as well. So you have every single entity chosen from different set of categorical columns from every specified data. So even though it is called cumulatively called that as a single data set, but it has a specified information as per the categorical name. So that's how you generally do it. So for example, yes. So for example, this is how it generally determines. So let me show you here. Okay, let me put a slicer and also yes, multi-row card. So here you can determine what you want to choose it. So first thing, I had chosen the multi-row card. So I will take the supervisor. I'll also take this total sales amount. If you see for every supervisor, single supervisor, you can see the sales amount a particular supervisor has generated for the chocolate products. So you know the particular person's impact he or she brings to this particular chocolate shop. For example, now if you see out to the employee ID, you can also check it out with the employee reference because earlier we had chosen with supervisor. You can either go with one because that's a kind of a input entity that you're feeding it. For that, you are bringing to tie up the reference to the total sales amount. For example, here we are given the product name. So let us also feed the product name. So we know it for every set of product and understand what it determines. So if you see here, supervisor, this is the particular sales that's been generated. And since you have different number of products, so you can't generally determine that only one product shows. But here, why do you get to see only one product is this the kind of a product this particular supervisor has generated highest number of sales. So they opt for that respective product and showcase it here. For example, if we bring the same set of information here, so let me give the supervisor again and total sales amount, also units sold. Yes, you have target. So you have three options here because this is the option information. So this is where you apply the slicer. So for the slicer information, you have to generally count the respective set of data that you want to generate. So first thing is we had selected the count of supervisors. So we obviously know we have three set of counts for supervisors. They have also inputted the total sales amount and also the units sold. For example, if I remove the units sold, you can get only the total sales amount as per the count of supervisors. But right now, if I go with this, removing the supervisor, I push the total sales amount here and units sold into x-axis. So this is how you generate it. Right now you don't have the color effects added because we haven't done any kind of formatting, but this is how it looks out. So if you see the total sales amount by the set of units sold, so based upon how you want to refer it out. For example, for the same thing, I move the total sales amount here. I bring the date here. Because this is basically a slicer, it only applies with a single set of information or single entity. Now the same set of information, if I apply for the bar chart, okay, yes. Now here I get to show you the total sales amount. The first thing is the supervisor, based on supervisor, the total sales amount. If you see, the count of supervisor is common because every a particular sales amount depends upon the total count of supervisors. It's being mentioned out as a 20. For example, if I go with the product ID instead of supervisors. So now if you see, yes, you can see the total sales amount, but you don't have any kind of a count of product ID because that is the kind of product ID which is a specified information which cannot be counted. So for example, now if you see here, you have given a total sales amount by date. Now the same thing if you wanted to do it here, you can see the total sales amount and you can push the, let me select this, push the date information here. You can see the variation. It depends upon the choices you make here, whether it's a x-axis, whether it's a y-axis, whether it's a field, whether it's a legend, whether it's a values. So based upon the title, you have to go with the right choice to feed it here and derive the respective analysis. For example, you can see different set of color codes because every date is a specific set of information. So not every single date is common or not does it have a single stable amount of sales that it could be generated. So you generally get it in a different set of color patterns. So if you see here, you are determined out in different set of ways. First thing is you had created the outline box. So this outline box you generally get from this particular slicer and also the multi-row key card. So based upon the option that you choose, you get this particular information. So this is the kind of outlook you get it. In this, you have to feed the data here in the data fields so that this particular information is being categorically calculated and showcased here as a result. And additionally, if at all you have to do some sort of an internal calculations from the data set, if you have any kind of a numerical values that exist in the data which you have to calculate or which you have to summarize it, whether it's a summing the information or whether it's a making an average, whatever kind of a DAX feature that you want to apply it, for that you have to apply the formula and generate this particular set of feedback. So how do we get it? If we select it here, we have different set of options. One is the date. So if you see, we have applied the slicer here. We had mentioned that you wanted the information of the sales only before to April 12, 2019. So that is to what the information that we have feeded here, the date filtration that we had added. Now, if you see, we have different set of product IDs. You have product name, we have employees, we have supervisors. Now, select one supervisor here. So now this is the kind of a complete information. Now, if you select only one supervisor, supervisor 3, you get only the information that is irrelevant to supervisor 3 itself. So you won't get any other respective information that's being showcased earlier. So it's basically to bring the complete interactivity at the back end, whatever you place it out here in the dashboard. So here we had applied the filters, we had applied the slicers, we have also applied the card, we had applied the KPI, we had applied the particular card. We have two set of cards. One is a direct initiative card, next is a multi-row card. So if it is a direct card, you generally go with this thing. If it is a multi-row card, you can generally create the different set of rows here in format of a category. And for this same thing, you can apply the slicer so that it shows it out in a categorical format, like how you could show it, say, showcase it here and select that respective option as per whatever you opt for. So this is for the different set of entity information. Now the same thing, let me show you with different set of dashboards for your confidence. Yes. So this is the dashboard for Olympics athletics event. So this is an Olympics event, and for that we have created a dashboard. So we have a data set here. We have different set of categorical columns. So let us choose one. So this particular option has been chosen. So if you see, we have taken the age factor and also the medal. So based upon the age, how many people had achieved a medal that you want to check it. And you know, in Olympics, you have three kinds of medals. That is a bronze, gold, and silver. So that's the kind of a pattern we had generated. And for this, we had applied the descending order. So that's the reason the highest comes first, following by the complete set of information. If you see here, because you have a lot of data involved here, so you can generally include this particular drag to scroll the information till the last. Next, the same thing, the card boxes that's been created here from this. We have created different set of information. One is in respect to participants and the count of name, how many participants that were present in this particular Olympics. Then you have the count of sports, you have the count of cities. Next, you have count of name by gender, whether it's a male or female. The count information of medal by name and medal. So you get the name, you also get what medal a particular person had been uh, gathered here in this competition. Next, a count of sport by year and gender. So you have the year, you also have the gender. So you can see the color variations, it's being highlighted. You can also prefeed the formatting factors to create an outline effect to it as well. You can address with the shadow effect. So whatever effects, whatever kind of animation, kind of importance that you could bring to this visualizations, you could do it from the dashboard. Now, if you see here, again, the same set of format that's been followed. So you can generally go with different set of choices. For example, if I go with a gold medal, you can see only the gold medal options and all the information that relates only to gold medal. You can also see the cities, what are the cities that had got with a gold medal. Now, if you go with the team, so first thing is you uncheck it, because if you don't want to be specified as per the goal, then you can uncheck it, and then you can go with team. So if I go with North America, so North America team, how many bronze a person has won? So I guess this person had won 4 bronze. So the only 4 persons, 4 participants have been participated here. It's been shown here. So now here it is like a female and male. So let's select a male. So you can see the information with only male information. So you can also see there is no kind of a shadow variation here. Only the male set of data has been fitted here based upon choice you make. You can also see if this particular data set is completely for different set of period, different set of years over a time. So you can see out to all the respective years that's been a part of this data set. So it's being calculated until 2016. So if you select only 2010, you get only 2010 data here. Next comes the sport. So whatever the sport, if you select archery, you get only archery information. So you understand how many gold, how many silver, how many bronze medals a person had won for this archery game based upon the age factor. So this is the age. So if you see here, it's everything is being given here. But if you mention it here, this is not only one archery that's been selected. You can also see the gender also being activated here. If you had kept this particular male unchecked, you get the complete information. Earlier, the information was only for the male person. So it's parallelly, you can do it for multiple things at a time. So it drives that interactivity throughout the dashboard so that you don't have to create multiple pages or multiple panels for it. So everything that you can do it out here from a single data set in a single page of a dashboard. So here we have again followed out to the same card row. We have followed out to donut chart. We have followed the bar chart. We have followed the table format. You also have this table option as well here. You see, this is a table and this is a matrix. So you also have the slicer here. So you can generally put a slicer determining based upon the year, based how many male, how many female people have been added here in the data set. Next, you have the count of medals as per the particular name. So based upon the name of the person, the count of medals he or she won. So that's being added here. Next comes the banking transactions fraudulent analysis. So here you're checking out to the fraud set of banking transactions to determine what kind of transactions have entered a fraud use case, what kind of transactions have been successfully completed. So it's being generated, and this particular data is from India region. So the same set of information, but you can see the different variations of colors that I have used as a background. It gives a good kind of a visual factor. So I have gone with a light color, and again this is again a kind of a card box. So you are given out to different information, whatever you generally selected. So based upon a banking transaction where a particular transaction has been made, the expense type is important. So for example, if it is a grocery, only the grocery information shows up here. It is health fitness, only health fitness shows here. So based upon the expense type that you had chosen. Next comes the transaction type, what kind of transaction it is, cash in, cash out, debit, payment or transfer. Next the card type, it could be any kind of a card. Like we have different set of cards like gold card, mass, platinum, different set of cards. For example, you have a Mastercard or Visa card. For that, you have a tagline name to it. So for that, you have a specific name and title. So this is the card type. So next comes the city in India. What are the cities? So based upon the choices you make, you generally get to see these are all the options that's available from this data set. So you have all the set of categorical columns here. You have a gender, female and male. You have first calculated the fraud transaction. So fraud transaction is very important to understand how much percentage of fraud has happened for this particular banking transactions. These are the cities, and along with the cumulative percentage of the fraud transaction from every single city. Next comes the percentage of fraud transaction by experience type and gender. So, sorry, by the expense type and gender. So, based upon expense type, how much fraud has been created. So, if you see based upon the expense type, so this is the expense and this is the gender. So, based upon a person whoever he is, male or female, it's being given out here in the color code. Next, percentage of fraud transaction by transaction type. So, how much of fraud has been happening. So if you see the maximum fraud has been happening for the option of transfer. So for the option of the transfer, you get the maximum fraud. Next, you have cash out, cash in, debit, and then payment. You also have the success transaction amount, how much percentage has been successful in transacting the money or payment. Next, the total transaction amount, total success transaction amount. So this is in format of percentage. This is in format of a cumulative value. Next, transaction count by year. So you can see out to different set of transaction counts. You can see out to different variations. So here have been applying dotted lines here. So it gives a dotted impression rather than a straight line for the particular graph that we had showcased here. So you can see out when you go it here, you can generally show all the information based upon the year, how much count of customers, fraud amount, the failure transactions, successful transactions, everything showcases for every single year. And that's applied for all the three use cases. So first is a count of customer, then sum of fraud, and also the failure transactions as well. So whenever you calculate these three cumulative information, the remaining information is going to be definitely the successful transactions that automatically shows up here in this particular cardboard. Next comes the count of customer by city and gender. So you can see based upon gender and city, you can see out to the variations. This is basically consistent, but this is being varying here for these respective cities. Uh, so that's how you go. And if you see here, you can generally see out to the name here that's being added. So every page should have a name. If at all you're writing it should have a file name and it will also have the name here. So HLD and LD1 or LLD2. So what does it mean? So basically, HLD is a place where it has the information or where it has the analysis which has highest importance, and LLDs and LLD1 and LLD2 that I have differentiated into two pages. This is basically a page of analysis which has information that is equally important but not as important as the HLD for the analysis part. So if you see, this is a different set of information. So similarly, you can apply the same set of transaction here. Every single kind of a chart, every single kind of format has been applied to show that variation here. Next, CO2 emission report. So in CO2 emission report, this is basically to check on to the carbon footprint, the emission based upon every single country from different sectors that's been taken for a certain period of a time. So this is the data set for it. You have different set of parameters here, the categorical columns. We have different countries or different set of options that we had added to bring the interactivity, the option to interact. We can select out to a country, we can go with India. So this is the India information overall, the carbon emission, whatever that India is been generating. So this is based upon country. So how much percentage it is? That is 8.93K. This is 100% because we have selected only India option. If we select unselect this, get a complete option. If we see here in this variation, the India is basically 7.9% or 7.9K. Next, here comes the total carbon emission to different years sector wise. So based upon sector. So here in this particular set of categorical columns, you have only two sectors, that is power and industry. So you can also see the kind of a percentage based upon power and industry. You can see the sector-wide emission. Next, CO2 emission by timestamp and sector. You're comparing the time frame with the sector it belongs to. That's the information here, the timestamp information and the sector. Here is the total commission uh, by country and sector. So here we have different set of countries. We have different information of sectors that's being auto-generated. So you can see out to different set of variations here. We had applied out to the bar chart to show that difference. We try to incorporate the light blue and dark blue to bring the variation of difference between both industries, power and other specific industries. Yes, next thing is the average amount of carbon emission per country sector. So, what is the average amount? So, that generally gives the average calculation. You can generally do the calculation directly, apply the average format in a DAX feature. That will give the auto generate output this respective information in the amount value. And similarly, the maximum carbon emission per day. So that also is being auto calculated. You have a direct formula for it. You have a sum, you have average, you have maximum, you have minimum, whatever kind of values you want to generate from the complete data that we find it here in the data set. You can auto generate it out using the DAX feature and you get the respective information, whatever you want to showcase it here in the report. So for example, let me go with the sector here. So you can see there are different set of sectors. So for example, I selected domestic aviation. So this is an aviation sector specifically. So it is being showcasing out the color difference based upon aviation, domestic aviation, and this is the timestamp. This is the country sector. This is the emission wise. So if you see, even the aviation industry also generates the emission. It generally depends upon the fuel consumption, how much it's being able to generate, what kind of carbon footprint it is bringing. So this particular information can relate it out to that. So it doesn't focus only on one single sector, it focuses on multiple sectors. You can see for the aviation, you can see how much emission, how many countries have been part of this data set for the domestic aviation, how many sectors that is being selected right now, and based upon that, the maximum value and the average amount value. Now, for example, we have this particular dashboard, which is an electric vehicle population data dashboard, and this is for the USA region. So for the same thing, we had not applied out to multiple use cases. We just made it simple based upon the model year and also a make type. You can select out to which particular model it belongs to, 2015. Only the 2015 models shows up here. You can generally select out what model in 2015. For example, we select a BMW. You only get a BMW information based upon the data set. So it all depends upon how rich your data set is. If you have good amount of data fed here, then definitely you get good kind of a results that you can create or generate a dashboard for. So we have first taken the count of model by make, next maximum electric range by make and model year based, count of model by make and electric vehicle type, average of base MSRP. So this is basically a kind of information that you get in a gauge format. So the gauge has been applied here. Next, the count of city and count of state by make. So based upon the city and state, that's being auto-generated. And to show the difference, one we had gone with a bar chart, other we had gone with a line chart. To bring that difference, to understand the different count of information for both city and state by the make information. So that is the make data that's being fed here. Now, if you see, I unselect this, I get the complete information. You can see different set of color codes here. So for every single model, make model as per the respective option that we choose. You go here, you can also scroll it until whatever the year you want to get it. Here you have the increase, decrease, and total. So how much it's been increasing, how much it's been decreasing, or total. You can see there is no decrease option because not no particular code has been color faded with red color, so it's not decreasing at any point of a time. It's always increasing, and this is the total value. So you can generate that kind of a difference using colors, using filtration, using slicers. So you can bring the auto select information as per whatever that you're feeding it out. Next, this is a dashboard for a crop production analysis. So here if you see again we have followed the same set of pattern. So this is basically to show how basic kind of a dashboard even on a professional level how it should be presented. So first it should have a good set of information. Basically like first you open a data set, you see what are the main important categorical columns that is more important to determine or derive the analysis from this insights. So for that you have to select that respective options and those particular options will show up here with the different set of categories. Next, the total information is important. So it could be anything based upon the problem statement. So that could be any information like whether it's a kind of information based on sales or whether it's based upon the area because it is a crop, it is something like a piece of a land. So that applies to a total understanding of the total area or the total land area or how much it is about to. So how much is the worth of it. So that particular information. So this basically a kind of determined information which is not going to change it. So this is the place where you write the determined information which is not a variable, which is not changed, and which is something that is consistent. So it's not going to change at any period of time. So this is how you have to differentiate on how you segregate the dashboard and make it into an appropriate organizing format. Next to that, next important factor here is the production, the total production in particular billions that's been added here. Then following to that, you apply all the analysis and dashboard, whatever you wanted to apply it. So this is basically, if you see, this is in format of a flow chart. So this is basically the format that's being used for the model view here. So the same thing, this thing could be applied with this option decomposition tree. You're trying to bring that flowchart format here into this particular row card. So whatever kind of information you want to feed it, you can feed it and do it out. But you have to determine there are two-way process. So first is this is basically you call it out as a headline. This is where you generally whatever something you have consistent throughout the data which doesn't change at any period of time. That is what the information that you have to feed it out here as a legal data to initiate the analysis route. Next, following to that, you start determining the analysis or deriving the insights with different set of visualization options here. So how do we choose it? Obviously, at the initial stage, it will be generating a lot of confusion, like what options to choose it, because based upon the choice of visual you make, you generally get a different set of terminology names here, like values or legend or x-axis or y-axis or the keywords, whatever the kind of title you get it, you don't have to worry about that. Only thing is, the main determination here is to go with the right choice to bring the right derived results out of here. So first you have to understand, you have to write onto the use cases to know what are the things that you want to analyze it out in general just by looking into the problem statement. First you write it, you can give at least 4 or 5 pictures minimum, and for that you try to drag and drop it here based upon the tool or visualization option that you choose it, and this is how you generally get it. After that, you go to the formatting options and apply onto all these different set of the effects, whether it's a color format or background, the whatever that I had done here, that you can apply. We have a wallpaper, filter pan, filter cards, canvas background, canvas settings, page information. So every single thing can be auto generated by the option that you selected. So if you see here, we have given total area and total production by season. So we have a different set of seasons here. Especially this is particular dashboard or data is with respect to India region. So we have different set of seasons: Kharif, Rabi, Winter, Summer, Autumn. So this is again a crop year with based upon the season. So based upon the season, you generally get a crop year. Next comes the state-wise production, how much production that's been generated state-wise, total production and total area. So these are all most crucial information that we generally need for the initial set of dashboard. But obviously you can do multiple kind of pages here. By clicking on plus, you can add out to new pages until you complete out to the overall determination. If you have more than one pages, you have to use the extension word of LLD or HLD or LLD. You have to give different set of categorical information. So first page will always be HLD, and following to that you'll be having LLD information or LLD pages. If at all you have more than one pages. If at all you have only one page of dashboard, you just give the direct topic name here and also the country of the data set it belongs to, if it determines to only single country. If not, you can just give the title name like here, crop production analysis. And you don't have to mention any country if it is having the information for different set of countries around. So that's how you generally segregate the information and determine the analysis dashboard. So next, if you see every single Power BI project will have the particular PBIX file. It will have the data set. So data set could be any kind of file, whether it's a Excel file or whether it's a CSV file. But many people opt for the CSV file for the convenience. Few people go with Excel file also. Both the ways it works because you have the option here. You can upload the Excel workbook here, or you can generally get the data if at all it is in a CSV format. You have a respective option of how you can feed that respective data set. So any kind of format works for Power BI tool. So it has its own flexibility involved. And after to that, again, the next important thing is basically uh, you can go with file. You have the option of export because if you see, if at all you have to communicate with interactively or visually, what people generally go here and they generally change the options and they can show that interactivity. Like if I select Assam, only Assam information shows. That's how you convey the data interactively. But at the same time, when you're kind of doing it out like a project, something that is for your own satisfaction, then what people do, they go to file. Here you have an export option. When you click on export, you have an option to select that you can export this particular dashboard in a PDF format. So if you select it in PDF format, you'll be getting to see the dashboard in a PDF format. For example, I'll show you. So in PDF format, this is how it looks. If I export it to PDF, this is how it looks. Now, the same thing, other important information that you have to know here, like once you are exporting the particular page of dashboard into a PDF format, so what happens, this particular dashboard will get maximized. That means you cannot see the complete dashboard at a time. You have to scroll here, you have to scroll here and keep on doing. For that, if at all you're exporting it out, the main best thing is you don't save the file, but instead you close and open the file once again. That's when whatever the dimensions that's being changed into a PDF format will come back into the same format of a Power BI. Yes. Anyone here? Any questions? Anything you want to ask? Your kind of inputs or feedback with respect to dashboards that you could find it here. So whatever you want to say or convey, you can ask questions, you can say something, whatever it is from your side. So I have shown total of 6 dashboards here. So you tell me what are the questions from your side, what are things that you want to know, and how confident are you? Will you be able to do it? So because you have everything ready, so you have everything. Only thing is the right set of options, right set of intuition is required, and that also even if you don't get it initially at start, you can try it out with multiple different kind of data sets. You can try with different variations, you can try with different analysis, whichever looks perfect, whichever looks good enough to convey the real-time insights to the dashboard, then definitely everything would be falling it into place. Yes, so yes, any questions, anything you want to ask, anything you wanted to update here? Okay. Then wait a minute. So what I will do is I will keep one particular dashboard open. You can come up with questions. You can say something. You can unmute your mic and whatever you want to convey. And if at all you had kind of uploaded a dashboard or in your Google Drive link that I shared earlier, then you can also discuss that as well. You can also ask out to any questions from that. If at all you want to improve it, so definitely I'm open to the questions from your side. So will you people be able to do it by 12th of August? So because I have already given it enough time, but many people have not been good confident to get along with the dashboard. So I thought I'll extend it for the more time. And also coming to certificates, many people had asked out to me regarding when the certificates will be released. Because since we have extended the date, I wanted to share the certificates at once for every single person that had uploaded their PBIX file into the dashboard or into the Google Drive. So everyone will receive the certificate, whoever does the task. And what questions to be addressed in the dashboard? Okay, perfect. So who's the other person who had raised the hand just now? Yeah, Arpita. Yes, yes. I'll take your question next. So first, I'll answer to Arya. Okay. Yes. So, how to decide what questions to be addressed in the dashboard? So, first thing is, let me open a simple one for you. Yes. So, we have only small categorical columns. Let me explain it in brief. So, definitely, you can see the problem statement. The overall problem statement is simple: crop production analysis. So, whatever it determines as per the problem statement, it should be only in relevance to the crop production. So, that is the main core point that needs to be addressed. In that, what kind of relativeness, what kind of comparisons or references that we could derive from the insights of you could what you could gather from the data. So how do you do that? So first thing is this. Let us see out with the common information and secondary information. So first thing is primary information. Primary information is the state name, season, and district name. So this is the primary. Also the crop. These are all the primary information. What is the information in relevance to the primary information? That is the secondary information, which is production, crop year, and area. So this is a value, numerical values are determined set of input information. These are the information that is constant. It's not going to change it. The state name will be same always. The seasons will be same always. District name will be same always. Crops will be same always. The only information that will vary is area, crop year, and production. That's where how you can determine. So if you are going through a line or bar chart, you'll be having the x or y axis. So that means the primary information will go into x axis, the secondary information will go into y axis. If you are selecting out to a donut chart or a any kind of the particular decomposition tree. For this, you can get the option of legend, the legend title or the values title field that you get it here, like a placeholder. For that, you can generally go with the information. So for this, what you generally need, you can generally derive a specific boundary or specific category. For example, if you're selecting something kind of a chart like a decomposition tree or a donut chart, what we do, we generally determine a particular information of how you can bound it into a single category. For example, crop and crop year. It's a single category because it relates to a crop year. Next, you have crop year and season. Again, it's a single category because that is how you do it. So you generally create a loop of two products together, which has both primary information and secondary information on an equal note. That's when you generally go with this respective set of options, whether it's a donut or whether it's a decomposition tree or whatever that options that you choose it. Here it generally determines based upon the legend or based upon the X or Y axis, based upon the choice that you make your tool for the visual graphs. Then for this, you generally apply the information of X, Y axis or legend format, whatever you want it to do it. So you have to derive the comparison. Next thing is, if you see here, this box doesn't have any additional information. It has only straightforward information, that is production. It wants to determine the complete value of production. That's a sum value of production, which is being derived here. Here also you wanted a complete cumulative value of area. That you generally get it only directly from the area. Because these are all card boxes, you can't go with more than one set of information here. You can generally feed the information, calculate the information, whether based upon whatever you want to derive it, whether it's a sum or average or count or whatever you wanted to showcase here in the card. And these are all these choices, these are all the application of slicers where you input output different set of information that's been categorized to bring the categorical factor here. Next comes the set of information, like what are things, because it's basically straightforward. A discrete name, it is basically a primary information but doesn't have that of importance, but you can take that as a reference to derive the production based upon a district. That could also be done. For example, here if you see, this is a district names here mentioned below, and for this you had inputted the area and production. So you have inputted two fields. You have one primary information and two secondary information. So primary information should always be one. You can't create or add multiple primary informations into the tag box. Only one primary information goes. For that, you how much ever secondary information you want to add it, you can add it. But for the enhanced clarity, for the enhanced information, it's better you don't add more than two secondary information at a time for a single card box or for a single chart. Because if you add more secondary information, even though you have one primary information, the color coding will be different. The colors will be different, but it will be minute. It will not be legible enough for even a person or a stakeholder or a client to even understand what you're trying to convey. So primary information always is being figured out as a one single entity. Secondary information, one or two, goes into every single categorical use case that you're featuring into analysis part. So that's how you distribute, that's how you enhance and understand how you could bring the complete dashboard. For example, yes. So if you see, I have selected the category domestic aviation. You have different set of information. Now, if you see here, I have different data. So you can also have inbuilt data set also, like here. So these are all the common particular set of categorical columns. But in that you also have a inbuilt data. That is only for data. If you open only specifically data, you will get data hierarchy. Else you get only as a complete wholesome data. Now again here also you have to determine based upon the choices that you make it. Since this is only a kind of a card box, you only feed only one information. So first thing here we had feeded the maximum CO2 that's been added here, then the category, we had feeded it here directly. Next the average amount. So average amount also we have it directly added here in the categorical data set. We had figured the information directly here. Next every single box here for the total amount, you have the total amount. You don't have the complete total amount. For that you have to determine out, you have to use the DAX future sum to generate the value of total amount that's being figured here. That comes from the value. So value will be having the commission or sorry, CO2 emission value. For that you're deriving the total amount. So whatever values that you have it, you're summing out the information and you're adding it here. Then you have determined countries, you have determined the sector. Sector you have already chosen, so we get only one sector. So countries depends upon the kind of countries that we have here in this specific table. Next also if you see CO2 emission country wise, you can see out to the different color codes here, every single information. And if this is sector wise, since we selected only one sector, domestic aviation, you can generally see the impact the domestic aviation is making for the CO2 emission. So when you keep your cursor here, you can get the sum of value, you can also get the percentage. Because we selected only one option of sector, you get 100%. But if you select or if you unselect here, you get the percentage for every single sector that's being placed here in the data set. So based on that, the percentage also varies. Yes. So that's how you determine it. That's how you understand how you feed it. For example, if you select here, now if you can generally select this and you can see. So what all comes here? So first thing is you have x-axis, you have y-axis, you have legend. Because you wanted to give the complete determination of information over a certain period of time. In that case, when you have to check on to the periodical information, the time variation, then you have to give three fields. So for example, here in the x-axis, we have given year because year is a constant information and a primary information. Next value, this is a secondary information. Next legend. Legend is something like a segregation, categorical, how you categorize out. So because that is a primary and secondary information, but you want something to categorize and understand. You don't want a cumulative information or the total information. You want it sector-based information to apply the category here. So for that, you had pushed the sector here in the legend. So if you see here, you're getting out a different set of information. So how many colors do we have? 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have totally 6 sectors and that's being added here. Based upon the percentage, based upon the variation, based upon the emission that is emitted from that respective region or from that respective sector. So based on that, you can see how it is being derived, how it is being incited, and how the particular values have been pushed here into this visual factor. So based on that, you need to understand whether you need only one input, whether you need two input, or whether you need three input. So once you decide that, obviously when you select the option of visual here, you will get to see how much inputs you needed. Then you have to understand which is the primary information, which is secondary, and which is the information that is to derive this certain kind of a category. So for that we use the legend title or legend keyword. So based on that you push that information into that respective space. For example, let me select this. Yeah. So now if you see this one, it's by country and sector. So first in x-axis, the primary information, we had pushed the country. In y-axis, we had pushed the sum of value. We need value. For this, we had applied the DAX feature of sum. And that's the reason, whatever the value, it had not given out as a specified independent value based upon the information that we had inputted here in the data set. But you wanted the sum information of the overall value. That's what we had added here, so that this particular some information is showing out for every single sector. So it also feeds out to the sector region as well. So if you see, there's again a color variation because you're selecting out to different set of input information. Okay. So that's how you generate the carbon emission report. So you can generally determine it out just by looking into the data set. Only thing is you have to take a good amount of time to understand and analyze the data set, look into the data table view to see how it shows, what kind of data it has. So if I see, this is all the data. We have country based all the set of data that's been fed here. We have a decomposition as well. So this is a complete set of information that's been fed. This is the dashboard. So it's very straightforward, very simple. Only thing is how you showcase it, how you visualize it, that matters. So here also, let me show this, which one? Yes. So here also we had applied the same format. So for example, no, it does water. Yes. So if you see here, you can see it auto selects what are the options that you are choosing here. That is city and fraud transaction. If you check it here, city goes into rows because this is a primary information, and the columns is being empty, but we have pushed the fraud transaction into values because fraud transaction is a place, the information whatever that's being loaded here in the dataset is in a numerical format. When it is in a numerical format, you can't push it in columns. Columns is again a kind of a place where you can only input the primary information. That means primary information it should be either inputted in rows or in columns. But we want the categorical table to look like this. We had pushed the city here into the rows. And this is basically in format of values, in format of numerical information. So we pushed it here in the values. Similarly, for this percentage of fraud transaction by transaction type. So we have selected both the things. If you see here in x-axis we have transaction type, in y-axis we have of percentage of fraud transaction. Now if you see here, we had pushed it to the y-axis. Why it is not mentioned out as a y-axis simply, but it has mentioned out as a column y-axis. That means you want the information, secondary information only. So based upon the title, you should be able to understand whether it needs a primary information or whether it needs a secondary information. If it is only y-axis, you need a primary information or a reference information. So it could be any one of it. But if it is column y-axis, it needs only the secondary information. That is for sure. So based upon the option, based upon the kind of chart, visual chart that you had applied, based on that you also get these options. And as per that, you have to go with the right choice from here and push it here into the placeholder. So now if you see, because you wanted to show different kind of variation, transaction count by year. For this, what we have done, because the year is a main factor here, core factor to understand the transaction count that's happened over a period of time. So x-axis will be having a primary information which is year, and in y-axis we had loaded out with all the secondary information, whatever you wanted, just to bring the time variation. So first thing we had uploaded the count of customers, then the sum of fraud, failure transactions, and successful transactions. Now if you see, a blue color is the count of customer, the brown is the sum of fraud, orange is failure transactions, and this doesn't have any successful transactions because the data set whatever we have it here, it only depends on the transactions which has failed, not which has been successful. Yes, but you have a separate categorical column here that mentions the success rate, because because if we have the percentage of 16.55 without transaction, remaining thing is going to be very much of successful rate transaction only. But this is in percentage and this is in the amount basis. That is the column that's already being fed here in the data set. So you add it here. So if you see other particular columns have been, placeholders have been empty because you don't need any other information. Everything you wanted it in the y-axis only to determine the time variation period. Now this one. So if you see here, this is the count of customer by city and gender. City is the primary information. The count of customer is a y-axis. And gender, because this is a categorical information, it shows in the gender. So we have to push it in a legend title, because that is a categorical reference on segregating a specific boundary based upon a specific entity of information. So that's how you have to determine and understand how it represents the information. So if you see, this is the HLD and LLD. That means this is the high peak information, which is very much important and mandatory to be known or to be analyzed on an initial and priority basis. Next, this is the low priority, but also has its same importance. The importance doesn't vary or doesn't change for it. But if you see here, the common factor, if aborting is basically common in every single thing, because that is how you determine it. That is a kind of a reference to you bring the interactivity, and for that, whatever the kind of information that you feed it below is in variables or in reference to that as per the priority level. Here, one page after the other. If at all you have to derive the multiple pages insight analysis for the dashboard. Yes. Okay. Yes. So next, Arpita, you had a question, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tell me.
Ma'am, can you tell how to find distance between two places? I'm not getting that. I tried, but I'm not getting that. How to do?
Okay. So actually, because right now we don't have that interactivity, I can't visually show that. But what I could do is I could share the code to you, the DAX future code to you that you can apply it directly.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, Arpita, you have?
No, ma'am. I will try some more projects and then tell. I will tell you.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, any other questions? Anyone else who wants to ask something? And out of all this count that we have here in today's session, you can tell me like how many of you had attempted the dashboard or how many of you have submitted the dashboard in the drive book. Yes. No one submitted from this count of participants here. Okay, Arpita, you submitted, yes. Who else has submitted or who else has started at least? Starting is definitely not bad, but initiating is also a very important thing. The main core intention of this workshop is to take your first step into Power BI tool and attempt the kind of assignment that's being shared so that you feel confident. It's not something that you need to be professional or you need to be showcasing a professional kind of a dashboard over there. Whatever it is you try to incorporate, impart it out, it's generally a kind of an achievement, even though it is small or even though if it is lesser. That doesn't determine or undertake your value from what you had learned from this workshop. So, which is more important and crucial, and I appreciate that commitment to take that initial lead in deriving the dashboard. Yes. Also, I'll be sharing out to one particular group link with Satak. So he'll be sharing it out to you people uh, for you to join the group. If at all you're interested, or if at all you wanted to some sort of a support from my side, definitely you can join it in the group. I'll be happy to help you out whenever possible. Okay, Pragya. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Satak. Yeah. So, any other questions from your side? The reason why I haven't gone in depth is because earlier sessions had covered out to the complete insightful roadmap on how it needs to be worked upon or create a dashboard. But right now, what I want you people is to dig into it, understand it, and apply it. And any kind of a questions, any kind of a support you want, I'll be sharing the link of the WhatsApp to Sartak, so you can generally drop into the group and ask out to the questions, whatever you have it from your side, so that I stay myself attended to you people personally with whatever questions you have it, rather than still struggling out to take your first step. Yes. Okay. So, Sarthak, you want to say something?
No, ma'am. I will share the group link with all the members.
I hope you received it, right, Sarthak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Yes. Thank you one and all for joining today's session. It was wonderful seeing you back again here, and also connecting with you is definitely special. So, any questions, any information, any support, whatever you needed, feel free to reach out to me. Even though it's smaller or bigger, that doesn't matter. I'll be there. I'll be mostly active, and I'll share out to the kind of guidance you need at the earliest possible. Yes, thank you, Ranveer. Thank you, Pragya. Thank you, Alpita. Okay. I hope Arya's question is answered, right? Yes. So, yes, any other further information, further set of details from my side, I'll be sharing it out very soon. So, you'll be getting
Thank
all the details in the group. And if you people haven't joined the group, you can reach out to Sartak and joining the group so that you stay updated out with latest information and whatever the support you needed.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today for this wonderful practical session. We have really learned a lot about the dashboards, different kinds of dashboards. It was really an insightful session for all of us.
Yeah, thank you, Sartak, once again for bringing me here. So yes, I look forward to see out to all the practical dashboards from your side. Shorter or smaller, whatever it is, attempt it and make yourself confident with whatever you do it. Starting is
Sure,
always
ma'am.
tough, but definitely something which is much much important to take that lead from your side. Change is required from your input.
Sure, ma'am. Actually, many students have already shared the dashboard with you,
Yes,
and few students are will submit the dashboards before the deadline.
yes,
So we will surely submit the dashboard.
yeah, sure. Yes. So thank you all. And anything you want to add, Sartak, before we wind up the session?
No, ma'am. For now, I don't want to add anything.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, see you might be in a future sessions or whenever you wanted a support, I'll be there and stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you everyone for joining with us. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, thank you so much.
Good night.